the new setup. So I'm going to attach this motor to here with 2 U-bolts. The shaft is going to sit, I guess, on the front of this plate. The U-bolt around it, nuts on the back, and then this motor is going to be on this side. These motors will not turn while they're bolted down to this plate the way they turn now, and it'll turn when I turn this whole entire thing. Both motors will turn in unison, and we're going to do that with a boat steering cable and steering wheel that are going to mount right there. So let's get to work. So we basically have a cable set up here, and this is the actual part that the steering wheel attaches to, and then the cable runs up through one or the other of those holes, depending on which direction you need to go in. So I'm thinking about slipping it right here, which would put the center of my wheel obviously on the shaft here, this keyed shaft. The cable I have is 12 feet, so it's going to run straight down under this support here. Run straight down. I'm getting rid of all this. All this is going to go. The cable is going to run straight down from there under that bench, and then it's actually going to go underneath. Like it'll come out over here, and then it's going to go underneath and attach to the new motor setup that way. This will be definitely 10 times more efficient than the wooden linkage that I have now. Not that it didn't work, it worked perfectly fine, but this is going to work much better because it's legitimately made for a boat. Alright, so time to get this thing mounted. Steering wheel is going to mount just right here. Alright, so what I'm doing now is I've got the mechanism mounted, and I'm going to tie in this bar here, this piece of wood actually, so that I can mount and secure bolts through there to keep this from rocking. That'll keep it nice and sturdy and very well protected under this whole thing. These throttle motor controls are going to be somewhere over here eventually, but for right now I'm just focused on getting this on. But all right, let me get that tied in real quick. Can you get me the steering wheel, please? Got my little helper grab me the steering wheel. I think it's solid as a rock. I think it's moving. Okay, so we're gonna have to pop that cover off. I don't have the right tool for this. Should be using a pry bar, but don't got one right this second. Interesting. That was cake. Alright, so I have the key in the thing. The key goes right here, and there's slots on here. But in a nutshell, that's where my steering wheel is going to be, which is nice and low, which is exactly how I wanted it. It's stealthy. Figure the motor controls are going to be down off here, off my left. Super easy to steer like that. Nice and comfortable. Nice plastic steering wheel. Nothing too fancy. That's exactly what I wanted. Alright. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to hook the cable up, run it in through here and run it down through the side, so we can see where we end up. Alright, let's do that. Oh! Alright, so this is going to go up into the back of the steering unit there, which you can get a good shot of. So the cable's going to come on down. It's going to go along the side here. And I think we're going to come out. So obviously this motor is not going to be positioned right here. I think we're going to come out. And we're going to anchor, build some kind of anchor point. I got to figure out what thread that is, but build some kind of anchor point here. And then we're pretty much in business. I'll weld the tab coming off of here to attach to that. And then we have to figure out what I'll have to do in order to lift it up. I'll probably have it set up where I like pull a pin, and then the steering cable is no longer attached to it, which will allow me to lift this out of the water. We'll get to that point at another point. Right now, let's get this cable in. I'm curious to see how it goes up in there, and then I got to put the key in the steering wheel, and then tighten the steering wheel down, and actually wind the cable through. All right. All right, now we got the wheel installed. I don't have the bezel on it yet. I'll do that in a few minutes, or when I get to it, actually. So the cable runs down there under the bench, comes to like right there, so you can see it moving when I turn the wheel. This is gonna make steering this thing 10 times easier. Ugh, like I am so happy about that. Alright, let me go look down here. So this is the, obviously this is all the wiring for my motors, but this is the back of the unit. I didn't tighten this bolt yet. This bolt just holds the cable in place. The cable then comes down, runs along the side of the boat, underneath the bench. And it's gonna come, I'm actually gonna have it come down here, where it's gonna be fixed at some point around here. And then I'm gonna weld a tab off of this. Cable's gonna touch it and turn both motors like that. That is a much, much, much better setup. A lot stronger than, like that's way stronger than this. This is hard plastic. This one is metal, which is surprising, but this one, hard plastic, and it's sloppy. Look how sloppy that thing is. This one, sloppy, but it's not as bad, but still, I mean, this thing don't move at all, so. Alright, well, it's going to sum it up for this video. I didn't have a whole lot of plans on like going crazy far with this thing. I wanted to film me building this, but I didn't have enough space on my memory card, unfortunately, so I didn't get a chance to film this. But in a nutshell, it's basically a hinge here and a hinge there. It's going to be able to come up out of the water like a normal outboard. Any other modifications, which I am going to make more to this, anything else that I do to this, you will see. So that's where we're at currently. Hopefully in the next video we can get the steering actually working completely fine and actually bolt these motors to that. I'm going to run some plugs on these wires so that I can actually remove everything and take the motors and the stuff right off for the winter, for this next winter, because I left these out in the elements all winter this past winter, so I'm not going to do that anymore. They still work. I tested them both. They work perfectly fine, but besides the point, I'm not doing that anymore. So yeah, thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you next time.